What's going on, guys? MMuniz here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go over the 7 things that I no longer buy in my 30s. I'm going to be honest, my priorities have changed quite a bit, mostly because a lot of things have changed in my life. Now I've got a baby girl, I got a family, a house. I have a lot of things I need to take care of. Back in my 20s, most of my money was going to things that focused on how I look to others. I really cared a lot about what others thought of me, and not that I don't now, but it's definitely not my top priority. Now also in this video, I'm going to talk about a little tip, something you could do when it comes time to make any purchase. As long as you do a little bit of planning, you could save yourself a lot of money when it comes to buying pretty much anything. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Now the first thing that I no longer buy in my 30s is supplements. It is crazy to think about how much money I wasted on supplements back in my 20s. I was so focused on getting big and looking fit. I would go and spend my entire paycheck, minimum wage employee, everything just going into GNC at the mall trying to buy whatever I could. Arginine, creatine, protein, and all these other crazy supplements. But at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff is just marketing. They're businesses trying to make money, and I was a bit naive. Now, if your own business, your own livelihood comes off of your fitness or your body image and you need to do that stuff, then that's great. Or if it makes you happy, then go ahead. But for me, it's not as much of a priority anymore. I don't even take protein. Now don't get me wrong, I do own my own gym and I still do work out on a daily basis, but I do that because I just love working out. And 2, I want to be healthy and live longer so I can hang out with my family. But supplements are very low on the priority and absolutely no money's going to them nowadays. Number 2 is new gym shoes and new gym clothes. When I used to go to the gym or go to certain CrossFit gyms, I'd always want to have the newest, greatest Nike Metcons or Reebok Nanos. I always wanted the shiny shoes and wanted to look awesome. That's another thing that it just doesn't matter. I found that as long as you have a dedicated pair of shoes for working out, if you don't ever wear them outside or anywhere other than the gym, those shoes will stay looking new for a really long time. I've got a pair of shoes, they're probably like 4 years old, maybe even more. And these shoes still look brand new just because I take care of them. So as long as you take care of your stuff and don't care about having the newest, latest, and greatest, then there's really no reason to be spending money on that. Number 3, and this is a big change for me, is actually the latest and greatest tech. No longer am I going around buying iPhones or the newest iWatch or iPad. It's funny, I'd like to have those things, but I always look and I find it's harder and harder for me to be impressed by the new technology that's coming out. Whenever I see the new iPhone, to me it just seems like, all right, they made the camera a little bit better and the screen a little bit brighter or something along those lines. Now, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but to me, I'm just like, I just don't think it's worth spending all the money on that. It all comes down to practicality. If it's getting the job done, and right now I have a relatively new iPhone, I can send text messages, I can watch YouTube on it, use my finance apps, that's really all that matters to me. However, even just 5 years ago, every single year, you better believe I was buying the newest iPhone, the newest watch, whatever I could get to make sure I was staying up to date with the newest tech. Now number 4, this one's kind of funny, but I used to spend a lot of money on self-care. So I'd be spending money on lotions, expensive shampoos, tanning memberships. Now, I really don't care about any of that. Once again, this all relates to back then I wanted to look younger, I wanted to look tanner. Now I just work outside of my house and I get tan, so that's good enough to me. And if anything, I have like a fear of skin cancer, so I use like the strongest sunblock possible and I try to stay away from the sun. I don't really know what changed my mind on that, but I guess I'm getting old. Number 5, now this one kind of makes me a little bit sad, but for me right now, with my daughter and my wife and what we're doing, it just doesn't make any sense. I used to have expensive cars. I'd have a really nice Mercedes. I had a really nice Lexus. It was cool, go out and date night, people see your car, they comment it. I cared about that stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I'd like to have one now, but in my 30s when I'm worried about building wealth so we can retire and making my home nicer, having a sports car just doesn't really make any sense right now. Now sometime in the future, hopefully I can have something really nice, but we'll see when we get there. I find it's harder and harder for me to spend money because I actually get more and more enjoyment out of saving money and investing money. It's really weird. My mindset has completely changed. Some people get a high from shopping, I get a high from saving. I guess that's a good thing. Now number 6, is more just being strategic with how I spend my money. I'm gonna call this category individual dailies. So something like shaving. I buy the Gillette Fusion 17 blade razor and it works pretty awesome, but they're pretty expensive. So what I do is on Black Friday, I always make sure to stock up for the entire year. I buy an 18 or a 24 pack, which is usually discounted like 70% off. And then that lasts me the entire year. So I know for a fact that that's not gonna change. I'm gonna be doing that for the rest of my life using that razor because I think it's perfect. And that's the way to save money on it. Any type of home good, you know, paper towels, sponges, that kind of stuff. I'm always going to Costco and seeing if I can buy a year's supply worth of it versus just a week's supply or a month's supply. Anytime I'm able to figure out how much it costs per item and see how much money I'm saving, that makes me really happy. So I always try to be strategic and buy in massive bulk for whatever I need in the future. And number 7, now this one is probably debatable, but I no longer buy expensive alcohol. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I will if it's a special occasion, but I used to always want to have really nice bottles of bourbon or really nice bottles of scotch, but at the end of the day, I know what I like, which I like Manhattans and I like craft beer. So I guess you could say I buy expensive beer, but you know, when it comes to buying liquor for a mixed drink, I usually just buy the cheap stuff because it doesn't taste that different to me. You know, maybe my taste isn't where it needs to be or something like that, but you know, spending 3 times the amount on a bottle of bourbon for my Manhattan just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just not a priority right now. Now, like I said, if that's something that you really care about, then sure, go ahead. But at the end of the day, to me, it's kind of like the Coke Pepsi challenge. A lot of people will say that they could tell the difference, but I don't know if they can, or at least I would debate it. So now I said I would give a bonus tip at the end, and this one's pretty important because when it comes time for me to make purchases, because don't get me wrong, I do spend a lot of money. Like right now, we're renovating our basement to make a new office for me. Anytime that I need to make a purchase, I make sure to look up what I want, see how much it costs, look for it on sale, see what credit card I can use to save points, and then when it comes time to buy, I always make sure I go through a portal like TopCashBack. Now, I'm not sponsored by TopCashBack, but it is an awesome website that you can use. All you do is go on, type in whatever vendor you're looking for, Home Depot, Lowe's, JCPenney, anything along those lines, and typically there'll be a cashback applied if you click on their link through that website. So you're using it as a portal to get to whatever website you want to go to. So for an example, something that was a bit of a splurge for me is I bought a new video game, Elden Ring. I bought it used from GameStop, but I went through TopCashBack. I got 5% back just from going through that. I used my Chase Unlimited card, which had a promotion where if you spent money at GameStop, you get 20% cash back. So that's 25% cash back, plus the additional 1.5% that you get from using the Unlimited, which brought me to 26.5% back. And then it was used, so I saved a lot of money. Now that may be an extreme example, but if I wanted to save 5 minutes, then I wouldn't have saved that 26%. So to me, investing the time to save as much money as possible was worth it, and I'm happy with that purchase. Now I want to know from you guys, what is it that you guys no longer buy that you might have bought 5 to 10 years ago? Have your priorities changed? Let me know in the comments down below. I do my best to respond to all comments on every single video. And if you haven't already, make sure you smash the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. We do weekly videos on anything related to personal finance or fitness. And with that said, I hope to see you in next week's video. Take care.